Well, welcome and thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate the opportunity to present this short overview and demo of eForms Wizard with you today. My name is Kitty Ambers and I'll be your host to walk through this demo. And I am the Chief Growth Officer with AVYST. AVYST started back in 2014 as a solution to improving efficiency in insurance agency operations workflows. And we connect the dots between agents, brokers, carriers, MGAs, wholesalers, and with other technology vendors. During our presentation, I am going to spend a few minutes providing some background around how we arrived at eForms Wizard and a few minutes of demo. And I think what you'll find is that eForms Wizard is pretty intuitive and easy to use, so the demo really doesn't take all that long. Now, if we think about the history of insurance technology in the insurance space, most of what has been built for our industry does a great job supporting policy administration, accounting, client servicing. However, we continue to have major challenges at the point of sale. We do a great job in administration after the policy is sold, but that challenge of getting all the data in order to get a complete and accurate submission put together so we can get an accurate and bindable quote can be incredibly challenging. So today I'll be sharing with you how eForms Wizard, which by the way was developed by agents for agents, helps to solve the submission workflow challenge. Let's think a little bit about today's submission workflow. And this may look familiar, or pieces of this may look familiar in your current situation. We find that the typical new and even renewal business workflow goes something like this. There are producers, and our producers might be in the office, or we might really encourage them to stay out in the field and keep hunting. But they need to capture information, and often that is on paper, pen to paper. Some prefer to freelance it with a legal pad. Some may print out blank forms or the current policy deck to make some notes on. Some prefer the good old-fashioned application or maybe the back of the diner placemat. But whatever method used to capture using pen and paper, those handwritten notes have to get usually to an account manager or maybe a centralized marketer placer who has to decipher that handwriting and then enter those notes into the system. And those could ultimately be multiple systems. It might be the management system, it might be a comparative rating tool, it might be a carrier website or websites, and all of this in order to create basic applications or forms that get that quote and submission to quote request and submission into market. Now, the challenge comes when the underwriter reaches out and says, hey, we've got a supplemental app I really need you to fill out, or we've got a questionnaire we need you to complete in order for us to be able to get this submission to you. So then the inevitable phone and email tag begins between the producer, the prospect, the account manager, the underwriter, and this can go on in order to gather the initial information that's needed to get back into the system, to get back to market with those completed applications. The challenge also is that so oftentimes the supplemental applications are housed outside of any system we're used to working in on a daily basis. We're running out to a website to grab a Word doc or a PDF that we then have to figure out how to fill and get into some automated format. So you know what I'm talking about if you've ever missed the opportunity to win a piece of business because it just plain took too long to get all of this together and get it done accurately. Well, I'm here to tell you with excitement that that's what AVYST eForms Wizard solves for. We have designed a tool to replace that very first point of data entry, that pen and paper, that gets complete and accurate submissions to market faster. There are 7 key things that AVYST eForms Wizard solves for agents, carriers, MGAs, wholesalers. Number 1, we empower producers and account managers to gather complete information at the point of sale, which ultimately saves time because the data is entered once and then shared across multiple forms. And those forms can be Accord forms, they can be those company unique applications, maybe the supplemental applications and questionnaires, or even agency unique data gathering forms. Now we know that there are other forms programs out there, but eForms Wizard is fundamentally designed to work anytime, anywhere. No internet connection is required. So an agent can be out in the field, disconnected from the internet, and have their complete forms set with them, and they don't have to worry about jumping on an insecure or non-secure network at the local coffee shop. Their forms are right there with them, and when they reconnect, they're back to being able to share them securely with others. Those others might be the underwriter, or they might be someone back in the office, which we'll talk about a little bit later. Now, the ability to create what we call customized forms packages increases the chance that your submissions are going to be complete, and it encourages cross-selling and account rounding a lot more automatically, which also helps with E&O loss prevention because we are gathering the same data effectively and consistently. Now, eForms Wizard is also education-based. We have integrated the Insurance Risk Management Institute's glossary of terms, and this helps with that risk management knowledge at the field level. The glossary basically provides agents and account managers with cheat notes so that you can explain coverages accurately and with confidence on site at the point of sale. Now, because information is being gathered in one secure place, the efficiency across the team increases significantly, which allows your agency to get to market faster, reduce that back and forth, again, between the producer and the prospect and the account managers and the underwriters. And you've probably picked up on the fact that eForms Wizard can really help streamline what you do with data gathering anytime, really, in the client lifecycle. The eForms Wizard Gold product level, which is what most of our users have, it provides all of the Accord forms and applications for all lines of business in all states. In addition, we have company unique forms, supplemental applications, and agency specific questionnaires in our growing library of forms and applications. And the way that library grows is with input from our customers. They submit those lines of business applications that they would like to see because it's part of their marketing strategy, their niche market. And again, we can be ultra responsive with the systems that we have set up for forms manufacturing. Now, from an administrative perspective, you can also provide access to support personnel in your office for things like broker of record letters, loss policy releases, those agency and producer appointment forms. All of those forms are in the tool. And then as a byproduct, we have learned that eForms Wizard is a fantastic part of any agency's backup strategy or disaster recovery strategy, because we don't rely upon a browser base and also the internet. It's a great tool to be able to use when the internet goes down. Even if you've got battery life on your laptop, when the power goes out, you are still in business because eForms Wizard is providing you with that tool. So we've found it to be very helpful to agents in CAT situations. eForms Wizard provides what we know of as the first ever ability to add non-Accord forms in a format that sits side by side with Accord forms. So, these could be carrier or MGA specific forms, applications, supplementals, all those things we've talked about. You may want to use it to standardize a sales script that is always part of your interview process with a new prospect. As an example of something that we recently added, this is a North Carolina certificate of liability that's required by the DMV. And I think you'll agree this is not something you're going to find in any other of your systems alongside the other forms that you're working on at any given time. We've been able to put this right into the forms library in eForms Wizard, and you can see that it sits side by side with Accord forms and supplemental applications. So this piece of the process just doesn't get forgotten, and it pre-populates with any data that might already be in your submission. So let's take a look at how the actual eForms Wizard software works. This is the icon that you'll use when you launch the application from your Windows desktop or laptop or tablet once you've activated your license and downloaded the software. You'll also find that our icons are pretty self-explanatory. So when we go to add a new client, fresh out of the box in eForms Wizard, you have an option of a personal lines client or a commercial lines client. And with the selection of personal or commercial, you'll notice that the package options change. Now, what's interesting about the ability to add packages is that you can customize the group of forms that comes into the package. So if you have a niche market and you want to ensure that all of the carriers you represent in that niche, that their forms are part of the package, so they're getting filled out every single time, we totally advocate creating a package in those scenarios. We totally teach you how to do that during your Getting Started with eForms Wizard webinar. It's pretty self-explanatory, but we walk you through anyway. The forms, when you pull them into a client record, are always dynamic. So each time that you're working on a form, you'll notice that when you go to make changes, you will get a drop-down that asks how you would like those changes to be applied. Do you want to apply the changes to all the open forms in the form set? Do you want to conditionally change them? Do you want to select the forms you'd like to change them on? Or do you know you don't want to copy the changes anywhere else? And as an example of why you might not want to copy the forms anywhere else, or the information on the form anywhere else, is if you think about a commercial auto scenario where maybe the vehicles are titled differently than what you have in the applicant information section, for example. One of the things that I love to demo is the description of primary operations. We type that multiple times, and by getting it right correctly on the commercial lines applicant information section, we can reuse that and have that populate all the other places where that definition needs to be. And I think what you'll find is it saves you a ton of keystrokes when you get it right once. That is the premise that the entire software is built on. Let's enter the information correctly one time and let it populate anywhere else it needs to go. And that can be whether I have the forms that I need already in my package or form set, or if on the fly I need to add a form. Adding that form, it will go grab all the information that's already there and populate the fields. Another exciting thing, I mentioned that eForms Wizard is educational. Another exciting piece of that is it moves with you. So that glossary of terms on the left-hand side of the screen is always changing as you are moving through different forms, so that it's trying to suggest definitions you might need answers to. And again, when you click on that field, you have the opportunity to have those cheat notes. And so in this particular case, we are working on a cyber application, and my prospect may have asked me, well, what in the world might I need that for? Well, I need a little bit of verbiage so I can say, well, Mr. Prospect, cyber and privacy insurance is a type of insurance designed to cover consumers of technology services or products. More specifically, if I need to go on, I have a nice ellipsis that then opens up for me the entire glossary, giving me much more cheat note wording, as well as cross-references and the ability to search on additional terms if that comes up as part of the conversation. Again, all of this at the field level, and I've never lost my place in the application. Keep in mind, the tool is meant to be used in the field to replace pen and paper, so all of this is happening on a single screen. Our navigation is designed so that you never lose your place while you're working on a submission. Another feature is our select form. Again, pretty straightforward. Let's say you're moving through an account and something comes up and you need to select a form to make sure you're gathering information. So in my example today, let's say that I was speaking with my Garth's American Bar account, and they happened to mention in conversation that they do a robust online t-shirt sale business because they have these great bands that come in on the weekends. Well, my typical restaurant package probably didn't include a cyber application. So now I've got to jump out and select a cyber form to go down that path, be able to ask a couple of questions, be able to ensure that I'm incorporating this into my submission. So I was able to come into our forms library, and that add a form got me here. And I can filter my selections multiple ways. I can choose by distributor, which gives me the various carriers I might be looking for. I can choose by the type of form. I can choose by the line of business, or I can filter all of that further by state if I'm looking for a state-specific form or application. In this particular case, I chose to type in the term and do more of a Google search by typing cyber into the search bar, and you can see that up came all of the various cyber applications that are in the system. Now, I happen to know we like to write with Chubb, Hartford, and Travelers, let's say, so you'll see that I have selected those, and when I hit my open button, it is going to then, for me, pull those forms into my forms package. You'll see tabs added for each, and it's going to populate anything that we already know from the data we've gathered into the form. Again, saving me keystrokes. So these are just a look at how those 3 different forms come in and get pre-populated with the data already in the submission package. Now, we talked a little bit about creating your own custom packages for the lines of business that you write and the markets that you like to write with. Again, very intuitive. We have a Packages tab. You are able to create a new package. We talk a lot about naming conventions when we help you with your setup. So you're going to be naming your package, choosing the line of business it should be affiliated with, and then you're going to open that forms library, select the forms you want, package that form up, and then you can share your package across your organization. So we totally advocate that there be someone assigned to set up different packages. Maybe it's the operations manager, or maybe it's the sales manager, to ensure that all the right forms are getting incorporated, then that forms package can be shared out across the production team. Now, when we talk about sharing, we are talking about getting things to market. So we might share with a carrier or an MGA or a wholesaler, and maybe we want to share that directly from the field and get it to market quickly, or maybe our workflow is to share the fillable version of forms with someone on our team, like our centralized marketer or maybe our account manager. So we have different ways of sharing. Now, I can share by selecting forms with a simple checkbox. And when I decide to share it, it gives me the option of sharing the current form, the selected forms, or all the forms in the package as either a PDF, now a secure PDF, or the AVYST client folder. So in our first example, I selected a couple of forms. I selected to share them as a PDF, and immediately it is prompting me to password protect that email that has that secure PDF in it. And it immediately opens my email program, which is Outlook here, and attaches that secure PDF. And when the recipient opens the PDF, you can see that they have a nice, pretty, clean application to work from. Knowing that many of our carriers and even wholesalers are using various digital tools to capture data off of forms, it's critical to have a nice, neat PDF when you go to market. Now, the other option, as we talked about, is to export as a fillable client folder. You can also do this as a PDF, or you can create a copy. So our save as and export gives us that opportunity. And it gives us the opportunity to, again, share these files internally. You could either do this as an email, or you could save it to a shared drive in your office scenario. Either way, when we share the fillable file version, it's creating a .avyx. That's our AVYST proprietary extension for the AVYST client fillable forms folder. One question I get asked very frequently is, does this integrate with my management system? And we totally understand from a workflow perspective that you would not necessarily want to retype everything from a digital form into a management system. We talk a lot in setup about various workflows and how to overcome that situation initially. But what I do want to share today is that we are totally set up for integration. We have structured eForms Wizard with bidirectional integration in mind, have built tools in to handle that integration and to allow for both import and export to any other system that supports the industry standards and allows for that data sharing. So ultimately, the answer on integration with management systems is yes. We have completed proof of concept with many of the top industry vendors. We are an Orange partner with Vertafore and are currently in testing of the integration with AMS 360. We do expect to be in market with that bidirectional capability very, very soon. One thing that's key as we talk integration with wholesalers and MGAs is the ability that we have built in to be able to share not only the data from the form, but the actual form itself, knowing that sometimes the form has to become part of the policy. So we are built with that capability in mind to send the data, send the form, or send both. The other question I get quite often is, well, this sounds great. Love to replace my pen and paper at the point of sale. What's it going to cost me? And we have developed partnerships across the industry. We feel like this is such a vital step to helping agents move to much more of a digital solution at the point of sale that we really want to make it affordable. And that's the way we've structured our pricing through our partners. So retail, the gold level subscription that I just showed all the bells and whistles on in general, is $100 per user per year. That is our retail subscription price. Now, if you are a Verta4 user, you are automatically a member of NetView, and our partnership with NetView provides a 25% discount. We also work with many of the state associations and have discounts available through them. Their discount is 50% off of the gold level subscription, but they have structured their arrangement and partnership with us in such a way that they're making the bronze subscription level absolutely free to their members as a member benefit. So I truly encourage that if you are part of your state associations, your PIA association in all states except Colorado and North Carolina, you have this deal available. The independent agents in North Carolina, the professional independent insurance agents in Colorado, all have that free as a member benefit bronze available to them and gold at 50% off. We recently also have gone into partnership with the Nationwide Insurance Independent Contractors Association and have extended them a gold subscription for free through the end of 2019. So you have lots of ways to get discounts on our software package. And it's very easy to get started. Visit our website at AVYST.com and look for our Solutions eForms Wizard page, and you will have access to this pricing and subscription details, how to download and install, how to get training. All of that is there very easily in a single view for you. We hold getting started webinars on a nearly weekly basis, and we are always available by phone and by email at info@avyst.com, or you can call us at 877-204-0704. And if you click on option 2 for sales, you get to my team at eForms Wizard at AVYST. So I want to thank you for your attention, and we hope to see you as an eForms Wizard user very soon.